En yes, yo sinctire, thinking tis is wust an morning, anoser video, anoser dose of inspiration. Frat if he told yo, tis is not a video, tis is a funeral, not of your body, son. But of something far more important your old self. If you are willing not desiring, not dreaming, but truly willing ten to die, we burn the past. We don't fix the old, we don't polish it, we don't even respect it, we delete it, and bezause abundance, true abundance, is not so messing your unbehind, it's so messing you all of, and you can't all of it when you are already full of pain, past pride, and pointless patterns. So close your ears, visan, pas breasein, dep of exhales lovely pause, do you felt that pause. Tat space, tat empines, tat is yo, visan, not the clutter you tsare, not the stories you repeat. You are space, and space is abundance, but you have a betzome a container limited, lacking rusted, so todai we break it. Let me ask you, visan, how many of your talks todai are you let regrets from yesterday, and how many of your emotions are borrowed from others for never truly live it? You wear your past liquor badge. You even defined yo. This is who I am. No, this is who you were, and is not sacred. It's spirit. If your phone hangs, san, fhad do yodo, yo reset it, you delaying. Yo clear sahe, vis an. But your most powerful technology has been running on 15-year-old trauma and 20-year-old opinions. So todai, we reset, todai we delayed. And from that nothingness we all of abundance, visan. Bezause abundance is not so messing to be ahevet, it is so messing to be received. But the door is yammet. Not bezause the universe is cruel, but bezause you are full of yourself. Let me say this clearly. If you want something new to come into your life, something must die. Your fear must die, and your self-pity must die, or excuses must die. Bezause nature does not reward comfort, it rewards clarity. So here is the ideal, vis an, listens are fully, every morning, before the world attacks your attention, you attach your limitation. Every morning, and before your phone controls your emotion, you control your frequency, you shit. You close your eyes. You ask, and fa am I still tsaring that is no longer serving me, and you delayed. You delayed with a smile, not with hate, not with regret, with gratitude and God be. Bezause only the onefholets go can receive. You see people are having abundance and thinking it's about money, fame, success. But those are just expressions. Abundance is a state of trust, openness, fluff, vision. It is the confidence of a tree standing tall even when it's not fruiting. Bezause it knows abundance is its nature, san. But if you water your tree with fair every morning, don't expect it to blow, visan. So stop this nonsense of waking up and feeding your mint young. Stop waking up and betsoming a slave to oser peoples noise. Before the world touches you must touch the divine within you. Shit, stilled. Silent, say to yourself, I am not this body. I am not even this mint, I am space. And from this space all of abundance, speak, man it, and tenrise, like a vario reborn. Not with stress, not with rush, but with stillness that roars. You walk differently when your past no longer walks behind you, and you smell differently when you no longer tsare shamelika sets on skin. People will ask, fat hanged, nothing. And everything, bezause you deleted the noise, and found your nature. So I ask you, will you dare, and will you dare to delete, not your fears, but your fears, Vill yo dare to delay de addiction to validation, comparison, confusion. En vill yo dare to betsome. Empty. Betsause de universe is not pouring to full soups. It pours into open honest, sun. Let todai. Be the last day you wake up as the old yo, and the first day yo wake up as no one. And in being no one, yo betsome everything. Yo see the greatest prison is not made of bricks and bars. It's made of thoughts, identities and memories we refuse to release. Visan, fan we talk about the letting your old self, if we are not asking you to forget who you are. Visan, we are inviting you to stop being who you are not. A very single day, visan. Yo wake up and unconsciously picks up an old script. On everything be your past experiences, be your mistakes, be your failures, visan. Befat someone told yo 10 years ago hen yo were most vulnerable. Tat strip bemes your personality. An tat personality betsomes your tsage. And tat tsage betsomes your destiny. But you were not born with this tsage. You were born free, tisan. Imagines, if your clothes are dirty, yo wash them. If your body smells, yo basse. If your phone is full, yo delayed files to make space. And but when it comes, sto your mind, the very thing creating your entire reality, yo tsare the same emotional garbage, vis. The same idea of being a failure, the same bitterness of a broken relationship, and the same doubts about your words, day after day, year after year. Vge, Betsause no one taugt you tat letting go is a daily practice. Visan, no one told you tat who vera yesterday should not be who you are today. San, tat your growth depends not on fat you add to yourself, but fat you remove. Think of a sculptor, Budvisan. He doest create a statue beating things. He removes the excess to reveal the masterpiece underneath. In the same way, Budvisan, abundance, confidence, clarit, tese are not external gifts. They are your natural state once deu necessary is deleted, visan. Let's look at your day, a normal, average day. You wake up. But before you even get out of bed, your mind starts its reply. And I have så mycket då. Im allerede begint. Im not nog. Frat vill people think. Frat I fail again. And just like that. And you become a victim of your old self. You walk to the mirror, but you're not looking at the present you. Visan. You're saying yourself through the lens of yesterday. The person who didn't finish that project, who got rejected, who got ghosted, and who create alone at night. But here is the truth. The moment in woke up today, you were reborn. Life gave you another chance, with a fresh breath, a clean slate. But instead of stepping into that newness, with you reahed into the dirty laundry or min warrant the same old cloth of limitation. And fatsvorse, visan, jo we begun to defend that identity. Jo sai wat is just who I am. I know it's who jo we betsome trog repetition. Vis an trog trauma trog unconsciousness. Vhat if just for today jo decided to delay that. And just as jo uninstall an app that no longer serves. Vhat if jo hose to uninstall the version yourself that was small. Visan. Started and seeking approval. Let's say you're someone who always says, Parim bad vis money. You repeat it. You believe it. Visan. You add that sorting to it. But is that who you are, or is it just a story that got stutsk? May you grave up in a home where money was ticked. Maybe you made mistakes. Visan. But do is that man you must carry that forever like a badge of shame. No, you can delete it. San, not be pretending it didn't happen, but be refusing to let it define your future. Your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Visan. Fenu, make the leken your old self a daily praktice, you begin to see how powerful you really are. And you stop reacting from wounds. You stop looking at life with closed lenses. You become lichter visan. And you start attracting abundance. Not because you suddenly become special visan. But because you stopped blocking the natural flow that was always meant for you. Let's make it this praktical. Tomorrow morning, and for you talk your phone, before you het your messages, take just 4 minutes. Sit in silence and ask yourself, wat talks, wat emotion, wat label, am I ring from a state that no longer serves me, write it down. Maybe it's, boim not worse, visan. Would I always fail? If people don't respect me. If I don't belong, if I can't hang san, enough take that paper and, with full arenas ripped, burn it, trash it, delete it, and whisper to yourself, but this is not menenore. But so say if you do not consciously delete your old self, vis and your old self will unconsciously delete your potential. The world will not hang because you read a book or watch a video. Visan, the world will hang because you decide to stop being your past. And here is the secret. You don't have to transform overnight. And you just have to hose every day to shop a little lichter. A little fremore present. So delete is day, not out of hatred, but of reverence for you are becoming. Let your old self rest in peace every morning, and walk into life not as a memory, but as a miracle, visan. You don't to have abundance. This might sound strong, especially in a world that constantly tells you to run harder and grind longer hustle more. Everywhere you look at influencer success gurus, they'll tell you abundance is out there, visan. Some everywhere used beyond current effort. Like it's a idea that on top of a new must blade to climb. Visan. But what if I told you, abundance is not out there? What if it's not so messing to have, but so messing to remember? You see, visan, abundance is not a life stile. It's not a luxury. It's not a bank balance. Abundance is your natural state. Don't believe it. And let's go back to the very beginning. To when you were a hilt. Did you worry about money when you were five? Did you compare your tossers to oss and fel un vorse? Did you doubt whether you were lovable? No, you logged freely, vis an, you create openly, you asked boldly. You lived with the full confidence that world provide. That your needs will be met and that life will support you. Is abundance. It's not always about having more. Tauk knowing that you are already enough, visan. And there is more than enough around you. But what happened? Some have here along the way, so that it taugt you latsk. It taugt you had to earn your worth. That had competed to besin. That there is only a limited amount of success, son, happiness, love, and if someone else has it, there is less for you. That's all. Look at nature. Nature never operates from latskts, visan. A tree never hearts sunlik thinking someone else will take it. The ocean doest fair running out of waves, visan. The ski doest hold but the sunrise betause it's given to move beauty already. And yet here you are, thinking abundance is so messing you must prove you deserve. But abundance is not external. It is an internal permission. Let me give you an example. Två people väl into the same room. One feels like a magnet. Visan, radiating confidence, esse, and openness. The other variant immediately shrinks, thinking not enough, visan. Doubting whether they belong. Same room, same people, opportunities. What's the difference? The state of being, visan. The first person is tapo ter abundant nature. The second is living in mental poverty. Not because they don't have enough vision. Because they don't feel enough. Abundance begins with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as broken, not good enough, visan, always behind, you can be surrounded by gold and still feel poor. But if you see yourself as volle, opens, and deserving, even with little, you feel infinite. Bring tisto a daily life situation. Imagine you're in a relationship. If you feel full and abundant inside you, bring love, not neediness. You offer support, not demand validation. Visan. But if you feel empty, you begin to expect the other person to more complete you. And that's where the suffering begins. But visan. That's where drama is born. The same thing happens with money. If you're living in scarcity, no matter how much money enters your life, you'll always feel like it's not enough. Because your internals are wholly at the bottom. You can pour all the success, fame, love, and luxury into it, and it'll still drain. So that's the solution. Resonates to your nature. Every morning, before the world convinces you that you are lacking, you remind yourself, poi am abundance. You do not need to compete, and you do not need to prove. You only need to align. It sounds simple, but how it is. Abundance is not about positive thinking, it's vision. It's about aligned being. It's about remembering that the same intelligence that created stars and galaxies also created you, and it did not make a mistake. Do you think the sun struggles to shine, visan? Do you think a rose has to meditate for several before it blooms? Te you stare, san. That's what you need to return to, your being, not your doing. When you are deeply aligned with who you are, not the story, and the label, not the wounds, you become a channel. Opportunities flow to you. People are drawn to you. Stop hashing up and start attracting. Because you are no longer a black hole of need. You are a radiant sun of overflow. Vision. You see, abundance is not a destination. It's a frequency, a state of openness, trust, and presence. When drop the belief that you must hustle to deserve this, and instead live from the truth you already are deserving, everything hangs. You become magnetic. You walk into rooms differently. You speak with some certainty. You love without fear of losing. And live a response with, not because you did more, but because you become less blocked. So today. Let go of the "ja, must earn abundance," and you were born with it. It's not about becoming something. It's about remembering who you are without the fear, without the noise, without the story. And when you do, the universe does just give you abundance. It recognizes you as abundance itself. Vision. Before the house of thy crashes into you, before the messages, the to-do lists, the noise, the scroll, but vision, the world. Terra is a sacred doorway, a thing gdzie space between sleep and wakefulness. That space is yours. That space is power, vision. And if you miss it, the rest of your day becomes a reaction instead of creation. This is his stillness is not optional, and stillness is not laziness. It's not spiritual fluff. It is the road of clarity, the mose of energy, son. That's the point to your higher self. And in a world that is addicted to speed, to stimulation, to constant movement, and stillness has become the rarest form of rebellion. You see, vision. Most people wake up and the first thing they do is their phone. Not breas, not their intention, vision, their soul, their phone. instantly. Te nervous system is hiatsket, notifications flot ter mint. Oser people's opinions, problems, comparisons, and chaos become the very first thing they absorbt. And they wonder if they feel anxious und sleer, bisan, tired before dziewięciom. But what if instead, you gave yourself the gift of stillness? Not hours, just moments, vis an, just 65 minutes to be vis you for yourself. Let me explain this vis something simple. Visan, imagine you're pouring muddy water into a glass. You shake it, stir it, agitate, you won't be able to see through it. The water is unsleer disturbed, but you set the glass down and wait, slowly, the dirt settles. The water becomes still, visan, and through that stillness clarity returns. Your mind is exactly like that glass of water. Visan, when you wake up and immediately into action, you're stirring up the dirt. But if you shit, if you brease, but visan, if you allow the mental noise settles, insect arises, the real you begins to ene from beneath the noise of the world. Visan, this is not some distant yogis practice reserved for monks in the Himalayas. This is urgently practical, and this is about taking command of your day before the day takes command of you. Let me give you a real world example. Take två people. They both have the same job, same responsibility and stress, but on a wakes up, sits stillness for 10 minutes, no phone, sen, no agenda, just bresa Santa Varenas. The other rolls over, happens Instagram helps, reads, batnefs, and rushes to show vis a nervous, mint antadistracted soul, bedziesięciam, one is overwhelmed, reactive, impatient. San, the other is grounded, centered, calm. Fat made the difference. Stillness. But cause stillness is not passive, visan. Stillness is preparation. When you create stillness, you're training your awareness. You're activating your inner intelligence. And you're sharpening your focus so that when life throws things at you, and will you respond with presence, not panic. Vis an. Stillness also opens the gateway to intuition. Some teams, the answer to your biggest question, what's next, should I stay, ego, how do I grow, is already inside you. But you can't hear it because your mind is too noisy. An. Just like you can't hear a fear in whisper in a storm, you don't hear your inner wisdom in a chaotic mind. Stillness is empty, and it's full of answers. People often say, but I don't have a time to sit still. But let me ask you, visan, how much time do you waste every day on things that drain you? How much is lost in distraction, reactivity, and unproductive stress because your mind is untrained? Those 10 minutes of stillness can give you back hours of clarity, presence, and energy. Stillness is the anchor in your storm. The space where you resonates to your breath and therefore your being truth tomorrow, before you speak to anyone, before the world knows your awake. Close your eyes and don't try to have anything. Use breath, feel your heart beat, what your thoughts, like clouds drifting by. To visan, no, need to touch them. Use what all of the stillness to soften the grip of yesterday. Visan, you'll begin to feel a space open inside you, a space that is not verrushed, not our full, not small, that space is your true self, and when you walk into die from that space, you speak differently. You make decisions differently, and you deal with stress like a mountain, not a leaf in the wind. Stills but your superpower, but also in that stillness. Visan, you're not acting from memory or fear, you're acting from presence. So if you truly want to attract abundance, If you truly want to delete your old self, if truly want to create a new life, start with stillness, son. Bezause silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of depths. And in that depths you remember who you are. Before the world told you what to be. An. Everything in this universe vibrates. The sun, the ocean, stress, your thoughts, all are operating at certain frequency. Visan. So are you. You are not just a body made of bones and blood. You are a vibrational being, Visan, constantly sending our signal into the universe. That signal is your frequency, and what you attract in your life. People and situations, situations, opportunities is not determined by how hard you try, how much you pray, or how badly you want something, and it is determined by the frequency you broadcast. Here is the problem. Most people have idea of what frequency they are operating on, with an, and even worse, they let the world host it for them. From the moment they wake up, their frequency is hijacked. On a notification, san, on a rude comment, on a piece of bad news. Tals alita takes to shift someone from piazza to panic, from focus to fair, san, from to yellowse. It's like giving someone else the remote control to your inner world. And, but what if you slime your frequency? What if every single morning you decided how you want to feel, and what energy you want to emit, and what reality you want trust? You can, and you must, but also your frequency is your magnet, Visan. It's your invisible conversation with the universe. Let's break this down with a simple example. Imagine a radio. You want to hear peaceful, relaxing music, but your dial is stuck on a channel that's blood statics or angry talk shows. And no matter how badly you want piazza, if the frequency is wrong, the signal will never hang. No fapli tisto your life. You want love, but your frequency is fair. You want wealth, but your frequency is lack. You want freedom, visan, but your frequency is control and anxiety. Si de mismat, visan. You're not getting fat, you desire bezause your internal station is not tuned to match it. And the world does respond to what you want. It responds to what you are, so how do you reclaim it? The first step is awareness, and ask yourself every morning, Beth had fat frequency, am I on right way, is it calm or hot it's? Grateful or resentful, for choosed or distracted, and most people don't realize that the first 30 minutes of the day are the most powerful. An, bezause you subconscious mind. The part of you that controls 95% of your thoughts and behaviors is wide open, unguarded, and absorbs everything. If you floated with fear, compassion, and noise first thing in the morning, and that's the vibration it will carry all day. But if you intentionally fill it with high-frequency inputs, gratitude, prayers, isan, silence, clarity, empowering thoughts, you begin to tune yourself to a different mal. This is magic. This is a ligament, vision. Look around you. You've met people who don't have much, yet they rate joy. You've seen others with everything, such as logs and followers, but they emit heaviness, anxiety, neediness. That's frequency. It's the invisible energy that precedes your words, vision, actions, even your presence. Think of it this way, your frequency walks into the room before you does. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt drawn to them? Not because of what they said, but because they just felt good to be around. That's the power of a person who has reclaimed their frequency. And they don't depend on the outside world to feel good. They generate it from within, and that inner energy pulls people and possibilities toward them. You don't have to be perfect to do this. Visan. You just have to be present. Let's say you wake up and fell over helmet. You're stressed, already thinking about 10 things. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can let that start run the rest of your day, or you can pause, breathe and shift. Treatise. Close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart and repeat. Pihose piace todai, ihose clarite, ihose gratitude. An, I am the creator of my frequency. You do tis not once, not fice, but every single day. Because retzlai meaning your frequency is not on a time matched. It's a daily discipline. Just like you brush your teeth and shower, your energy needs cleansing too. You need to hedge in with your emotional state and decide, son. Is this the energy want to send out into the world today? Because whatever you send, you will receive more of. Visan. If you walk into the world heavy, resentful, bitter, you will attract more reasons to feel that way, son. But if you walk in with likeness, trust, and joy, the world will begin to respond to that signal. Visan. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about hosting your alignment regardless of what's happening around you. Visan. That's true power. That's the power of those who don't just live by default. They live by design. So tomorrow morning, take your power back. Before you stroll, before you speak, before you consume the energy of the world, generate your own. But visan, because frequency is your life's foundation. It's the energy blueprint you lie down every morning. And when you reclaim it, you reclaim everything. Go. It sounds simple, but in reality it is one of the most powerful and most difficult acts a human being can perform. Because letting go doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you are finally ready to move forward, rise, to evolve, to live. Yet most people carry the weight of their past like a badge of honor. They drag old pain, outdated beliefs, and expired identities behind them like luggage through an airport, heavy, exhausting, and unnecessary. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why nothing new is showing up in their life, why abundance, peace, and purpose feel so far away. But the truth is simple. You can't receive what's meant for you if your hands are full of what's already gone. And letting go with grace is not just about dropping the weight. It's about releasing it with wisdom, with gratitude, and with dignity. And it's about understanding that some chapters are not meant to be dragged endlessly. They are meant to be closed. And let's say you were in a relationship, maybe romantic, maybe with a friend or even a job, and at some point began to drain you. It no longer aligned. It no longer felt like growth. But instead of letting go, you held on. Why? Because of comfort. Because of fear. Because of the story you told yourself. But if I let this go, and what will I have left? But the real question is, what is it costing you to hold on? And every day you spend gripping something that no longer serves you, you are delaying the arrival of something that does. Letting go doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't need to be loud or violent. It can be soft, gentle, quiet, like the way autumn releases its leaves. Have you ever watched a tree let go? It doesn't beg the leaves to stay. It doesn't mourn their falling. It simply releases because it trusts the process. That is grace. And yet we humans try to control every season. We cling to what is decaying. We resist change if we know better than life itself. But nature teaches us everything. When you see a river flowing, it never clings to any drop. It simply moves forward, and in doing so, it stays alive. The more you grip, the more you suffer. The more you release, the more you flow. And letting go doesn't mean the past didn't matter. It doesn't mean the pain wasn't real. It simply means you are no longer allowing that experience to define who you are today. You are no longer renting out space in your soul to people or patterns that no longer deserve it. Letting go with grace is an act of self-respect. Let's bring this into daily life example. And imagine every morning you wake up and open a file in your mind labeled regrets, and you read through it again and again. All the things you did wrong, the things you should have said, the people who hurt you, the opportunities you missed. And then you go about your day, carrying the energy of that file into every interaction, every decision, every conversation. Can you really create a new life when your system is clogged with old code? Letting go is like pressing the delete button, not out of hate, not out of denial, but from a deep place of awareness. You say, the thank you experience. Thank you for teaching me. I honor what you brought me. But you no longer belong in my hands. And then you open your palms. You breathe, you surrender. That is where real power begins, and because you let go of doesn't define you. What you're willing to release with love, that defines your strength. Sometimes we think holding on makes us strong, but truly it's the release that takes courage. It's the act of saying, but this is not mine anymore. I am free to grow. Letting go with grace also means not seeking revenge, closure, or validation. And you're not letting go to prove a point. You're letting go because your peace matters more than your pride. And you don't everyone to understand your journey. You don't need the apology that never came. You don't need the final conversation. Sometimes, and the closure is simply you deciding that your healing no longer depends on someone else's behavior. That is grace. And here's the beauty of it. The more you practice letting go with grace, the more you begin to trust life. And you realize that loss is not the end. It's the beginning of space. And space is what allows something new, something better, something true to enter. You've probably seen this happen. You finally let go of a toxic job, and suddenly a better opportunity shows up. You release a draining relationship, and new people enter your life who reflect your growth. You stop trying to control everything, and peace returns. It's alignment. You stop clinging to the wrong frequency, and your life begins to match the vibration of your soul again. So each day, ask yourself, and the what am I holding that is holding me back? How can I release it? Not with resistance, but with reverence. Because when you let go with grace, you don't lose. You liberate. And in that liberation, and life rushes in to meet you, with arms full of everything you were meant to receive all along. And imagine walking into a room filled wall to wall with old furniture, dusty chairs, broken tables, things you no longer use but still keep because of some strange attachment to the past. Imagine someone knocks on your door and says, I've brought you something beautiful, a brand new sofa, sleek, elegant, comfortable. When they try to bring it in, there's no room. The space is too full. So you have to say, oh, sorry, I love it, but I can't receive it. That's exactly what most people are doing with their lives. They are praying for new opportunities, new relations, abundant relationships, peace, growth, but their inner space is full of old pain, old grudges, old versions of themselves, full of outdated dreams, past failures, constant overthinking, and self-doubt on loop. And the door is open, but there's no room to receive. The universe is infinitely abundant and willing to pour into you. But just like water cannot fill a cup that's already overflowing with dirt, blessings cannot enter a life that has no space for them. Creating space is not about becoming empty. It's about becoming available. Think about your phone for a moment. You try to install a new app or download a beautiful photo, and suddenly a pop-up says, the storage full. What do? You start deleting. You remove unused apps, clear the cache, get rid of old files, duplicates, videos that no longer matter. You make space, and then finally the download begins. Now think about your mind, your heart. How much is in there right now that doesn't need to be? How many repetitive thoughts take up bandwidth every single day? And how many old stories are still looping? But I'm not good enough. What if I fail again? Or they hurt me? If I missed my chance? And to maybe I'm not meant for more. These thoughts are like forgotten apps running in the background. They slow you down. They drain your energy. They keep your soul cluttered. Creating space begins with an intentional subtraction. It means giving yourself permission to pause, to evaluate, and to release. And not because those memories or emotions are meaningless, but because you are ready for something greater. And let's bring this into a day life example. Say you're asking the universe for a better relationship. You want someone who loves you, respects you, brings joy into your life. But deep down, you're still holding on to the pain of the last one. You're still checking their social media and comparing every new person to the one who broke your heart. You're still repeating the story of how they betrayed you, how it ended, how you don't want to be hurt again. That pain, that narrative, it's filling the space where love is supposed to enter. You are not available even if you think you are. You haven't made space. Or imagine wanting financial abundance. You're working hard, you're putting in the effort, but nothing seems to flow. Why? And because your inner space might be filled with beliefs like, I never have enough, or money is hard to earn, or I'm not worthy of wealth. These beliefs act like mental clutter. They block the signal. They keep you tuned to scarcity. And even while you're calling out for prosperity, the beauty of creating space is that it's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, but this thought no longer belongs here. Or this version of me was useful once, but not anymore. Or this habit served me in survival, but I'm done surviving. I'm here to thrive. Space can be created through silence, forgiveness, through decluttering your home, through saying no, through letting your nervous system rest, through walking away from what no longer fits even if it once felt safe. Have you ever cleaned out a closet and suddenly felt lighter, like your entire mind was clear? That's not just organization, and that's energetic alignment. Your outer environment reflects your inner state. When you space outside, something shifts inside. And when you clear space inside, the universe responds outside. Because here's the truth. The universe loves a vacuum. When you create space, it doesn't stay empty for long. Life fills it. New energy rushes in. Ideas flow. Opportunities appear. People show up. But you must trust the process enough to release what no longer serves you before the new has arrived. Most people wait to let go after they've found something better. But life doesn't work that way. You must be willing to say, I'm ready for what's next, even when you can't see it yet. That's the real act of faith. And faith, when backed by space, becomes magnetism. So every morning, ask yourself, what can I release today to make room for more of what I desire? For thoughts, habits, stories, or patterns are longer welcome in the version of me I'm becoming. Then breathe. And with each exhale, let go. Let go not with fear, with freedom. Because the more space you create within, the more life has room to dance in you, through you, around you, and when you are finally empty of everything that was never really you, you become full of everything that always was.